Stunt move. This is almost like a shake and bake in basketball. If you can get your defender thinking you're going one way and cutting back the other way, it allows you to be one step or one stroke ahead of your defender. If you notice in this move, your offensive player is creating a lot of white water, a lot of quick twitch movements. You've got to really sell that first movement. If you can sell it, you're going to get that defender going one way, which is going to make it easier for you to cut back the other way. One small thing you can see on the underwater camera here is the arm that once you cut across, that the other hand can move that defender to the side and allows you to take a stroke in front of that defender. Get that ball side if you wish. That stunt move is also great just to make your defense think about you. Even if you don't even want to do anything. You're just moving, you're creating space, you're making him focus on you. You never want your own defender to try to help somebody else out. Keep him occupied with stunt moves. Elbow control. This is one of my favorite things to be able to do as a driver offensive player. If I can maintain the elbow of the defensive player, I can learn to maneuver him in a way that I want him to go. I can get inside water, I can make him think I'm going inside water and coming back out and receiving the ball. If you notice, controlling the elbow on a player actually is able to maneuver the entire body. You'll see in this elbow control drill that the offensive player grabs the elbow with the outside hand and takes a big stroke with his inside hand as though he looks like he's just swimming by the defender, even though he is grabbing the defensive player. The offensive player, once he grabs this big move, he cuts to the inside with the big stroke and tries to gain inside water. Here on these next couple of clips, the defender does a great job of spinning out of the elbow control, but the offensive player is one step ahead. When that defensive player turns his back to him, he steps back over his hips, receives the ball, or he cuts across his body and goes back the other way. These are setup moves. The inside stroke is that inside hand gaining that ball side or inside water position. The only thing that's going to allow you to do this is with a big breaststroke kick to get you in that position. If you can establish that first stroke, you've established control or an advantage on your defender. Once you have that inside game, stop. Hold it, contain it, get your hips back up, and then release again. Don't just take off for the races. The grind to shin release is probably one of the most important key aspects of offensive drive. If you can learn this drill, you will learn how to separate from your defender like the best of them. Here the offensive player is grinding into him with an inside stroke. He rotates his hips into the defensive player. After he makes contact with his hips, his shins moves up the body of the defensive player and brushes off the defensive player, which allows him to have great separation. It's important that you don't kick with the bottom of your foot, because the defensive player can now exaggerate the movement and you can be called for an offensive foul. In these underwater clips, you're going to notice the hip, shin, release on the defensive player. You have to get into your defensive player. Not above the water, but underneath the water. If you get into your player on above the water, an easy call, an offensive call will be called. But if you can get that contact underneath the water, you're going to see the separation that the offensive player can maintain or contain. Four goes on a nice drive here and creates separation with a nice hip, shin, grind, release. Nice release, receives the ball for an open shot. Great job of creating separation with your hip and your shin, moving away from your defender. A give and go, one of the oldest things in a basketball playbook. Trying to get the defense to commit to the ball, passing the ball, using his momentum to your advantage, and going the other direction. One of the important things here you'll notice is that the leading hand of the offensive player, when he passes the ball, wraps underneath the water and grabs the lower back of the defense, pushing him on through. Once that offensive player gives and goes and gets inside water, he maintains that inside water by hesitating, getting his hips up, his shin into the defense, and releases on a shin release to gain that open water advantage for finish the goal. The last drill we have is a DRD, a drive, release, drive. Making the defense think you're going on a drive, popping back out, faking that you're receiving the ball, getting the defense to come on you and commit to you, and then driving a game to get that inside water. This is a great drill to add, just like the give and go.